Well, scientists with the University of Illinois want your dirt, literally. Earlier this year, an incredible discovery was made inside an old barn in Champaign County, Illinois. Inside, there were 450 jars filled with soil samples from across the entire state of Illinois. They date back as far as 1862 and span 21 million crop acres. This is now the oldest and largest soil archive in the world. And if that's not fascinating enough, the team with the Department of Crop Scientists at the University of Illinois now wants your help with this next part. So they're looking to get modern day soil samples from the same places all of those old ones are from. Earlier, we sat down with the team's lead scientist to chat about this incredible find and what it could mean for Illinois and the world. It's new tonight on The Current. Here to talk about all of this is the soil scientist leading the charge, Andrew Margonaut. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Shelby. Pleased to be here.
Well, I just think this is the coolest story ever. I was telling you how I feel like I'm nerding out about this. Talk to me about really how rare this old soil collection is.
Well, it's good reason to nerd out. My entire team is freaking out in a good way. And that's because, as you pointed out, Shelby, this is the oldest archive and the largest archive at the same time. So by oldest, we mean that very few soil collections go back more than 40 or 50 years. We did a study with USDA finding that the average age of an archive is maybe 30-ish years. This one goes back over 120 years. And furthermore, it covers the entire state of Illinois with over 500 sampling locations. For reference, some countries have 20 or 40 locations over 40 years. So we have the longest and the widest.
This is just the craziest thing ever. And now you want a modern day comparison. Talk about the benefit of having that type of information.
Yes, so this would also be quite novel, and it would position Illinois at the forefront globally for research, but also provide insights to her farmers. So what we're trying to do here is to resample these locations. These soils were taken beginning in the late 1800s, and someone had the foresight to record where it was taken and how deep. So we know where these samples were from. We can go back to those same fields, take a new sample today, and by comparing the differences in pretty much everything, organic matter, fertility, carbon, we can understand how soils of our state have changed over a century. And that's invaluable because a lot of things that are important for being sustainable for crop production only manifest at very long time scales. And we don't really have archives until now to test those questions.
And I think one of the best parts is you plan on making all of this knowledge public as well, right?
That's correct. So a lot of this work is funded by the Illinois Nutrient Research and Education Council, NREC. They are a farmer checkoff fund, and we appreciate their support because they've enabled the resurrection of this archive. But because this archive, the soils, and now the checkoff dollars that are funding its use are really public funded, we want to make sure that the public and researchers outside of the state have access to it once it's done.
And I can only imagine this will be helpful for researchers across the state, but farmers, lawmakers, I mean, even climatologists, I can imagine.
Exactly right. There's multiple end users of this. The first one that interests me is the farmers of Illinois. Questions that we often get at the U of I regard things like micronutrients. Have we been mining them over time? What was carbon like before tillage became more widespread? Or what happened to carbon after no tillage? That's going to be a positive benefit to carbon. These are the kinds of questions that we can answer with really high confidence that are basically not answerable beyond 10 or 20 years in most cases.
Okay, so you've mapped out all of these present day samples, and I was looking at the map in our own viewing area. I see locations in Whiteside, Rock Island, Lee, LaSalle, Henry, Carroll, Boone, and Bureau counties. That's a lot of ground to cover. How does it work? Do you guys contact the property owners, or do you ask them to reach out to you?
Both. And we have had really good luck with landowners and farmers reaching out to us. And so we ask that if you check out this map and you see a sampling location that is nearby you, or you might know someone who owns or farms that ground, we'd much appreciate being put in touch with that person. All we're asking is access to the field. We'll go in after crops come off in the fall or before they go in the springtime to avoid any crop damage. And we will be taking about 6 soil samples about 1-inch diameter, so very small footprints. All the data would be shared with the landowner, and we can also anonymize the location to the county scale if the farmer or the landowner wishes us to do so. It's their data first and foremost.
Andrew, I just think this is the craziest, coolest thing ever.
Thanks for having me, and we hope that folks reach out to us and help us do this centennial resampling of a historic archive.
So to check out the interactive map to see if your property is a soil sample site, you can go to our website right now, WQAD.com, and click on the As Seen on TV tab.